look at them, they all are impacting the species on that planet that is attempting to go up through spiritual maturation and get to a point where they can ascend in their evolutionary process. And the interaction that those entities or those energies have with one another, low vibrational toward the and the high vibrational, affect one another. This is the beauty in the process. The low energy pushes the higher energy, right? So those lower expressions are pushing the beings that are sentient on that planet toward higher vibrational existence by challenging them, by providing them with these difficult situations that we find ourselves going through. Something similar. That's all provided by us rubbing up against low energy. Huh? All right. We call them dark forces. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So, as that species went through their clashes with dark forces, and the dark forces manipulated their society and the way that they were developing for a time, right? As they had to go through a myriad of experiences that they ultimately needed to mature spiritually as an entire species or civilization. They went through all of it the same way we are. Right? And that's what we're going through on this planet. The same process. Because the beautiful reward that they got for going through that process of spiritual maturation was their true ascension. They took the evolutionary jump that they needed for their entire species to move to another level. If you want to call it a higher dimensional existence, go right ahead. I would say more so and more likely a multi-dimensional existence is what they opened up themselves to as a species. And this is the process we're going through. This is why we have had dark forces in so many different forms that have manipulated us in our society on this planet. If you want to say it's, what it is or who and what those dark forces are isn't really what's important. But if, sure, you want to go ahead and name them and say, I believe there's a reptilian influence here that, has biologically or genetically interfered with us and has been manipulating our society in a myriad of ways. Maybe the dark energies have manifested in that way. But I just told you what the purpose was. If you want to say, it's just these dark socioeconomic elites that have been a part of these secret societies that have existed for thousands of years, and they have kept us limited information and understanding of the sciences and who and what we are so that they can continue their system of control and dominance throughout the world by controlling the flow of information. Sure, go ahead and name it that. I wouldn't say either is wrong. If you want to say it's both, I wouldn't say it's wrong. If you want to say, nah, it's not the reptilians, it's actually an insectoid species that has been doing this manipulation. If you want to say, nah, it's neither one, ain't nothing exotic like that, you tripping, nah, it's actually the Anunnakis who did that. Well, maybe all those things are right. You go back through um, the Sumerian tablets that have been uh, decoded, translated, uh, first most notably by Dr. Zachariah Sitchin, and then most recently an excellent, incredibly impressive job of doing so done by Billy Carson, right? And some other individuals as well. But if you want to go by that, then certainly it's undeniable the influence of that species referred to as the Anunnaki, that civilization, right? But then you could take a look at the interview that uh, what's the guy's name, David Icke, did with um, the great Zulu spiritual leader. Um, his name escapes me at the moment. But they talked in depth about genetic experimentation that the reptilians did in Africa, right? On indigenous individuals there, even though I don't like that term, Africa. On indigenous folks, highly melanated folks there, right? And how they actually downgraded the DNA, right? So the one Anunnaki experiment or genetic manipulation was of upgrading certain hominids um, with an upgraded DNA sequencing, right? To make them intelligent enough to be able to be proficient